Hey, well, this is Zaccheus with another live word of the day, and I thank you for tuning in. And I entitled this video, The Trade Wars Will Cause Some Families to Panic. Now, I'm not talking about all families, I'm talking about the 9 to 5ers, the poor, the middle class, families. I gotta get up in the morning every 5 days a week, work 40 hours a week. The people that's low income families. I'm talking about people that are struggling to pay rent every month, pay that rent, or pay that car note, or buy groceries, or buy little toys for their kids. Those are the families I'm talking about. When I talk about the trade war will cause families to panic. On today's episode with Zaccheus, with another live word of the day, and here's a news article to emphasize what I'm saying even more.
What does this tariff hike for goods from China mean to you?
Well, ABC 7 News reporter Suzanne Fong here live in studio with a closer look. Hi, Suzanne.
Hey, Larry, Kristen. So many things we buy are made in China. Clothes, electronics, things made with plastic. Now, the big question on many minds, how much more could we pay because of these tariffs, and who is it going to hurt the most?
This is a good one. The Smith skis. You're definitely made in China.
It's a toy?
Yeah.
Look in your shopping bag, and you'll probably find a lot of things made in China.
This is just a notebook I got that is also made in China.
Evan Vilar is an international student from the Philippines. He's trying to save every penny he can. Because of the trade war, prices could possibly surge on a lot of Chinese-made products, and that's going to make it tougher for him to pay for things.
I'm just a bit concerned with the fact that the tariffs are going to definitely have an effect on that.
Walk inside a Target store and you'll find so many things made in China. Umbrellas, underwear, socks, cell phone covers, headphones, paper plates, even Barbie, all made in China. We checked on some Chinese-made items to see how much more they could cost you.
Everything coming from China is now being taxed at 125%.
Professor Olaf Groth is with the Haas School of Business at UC Berkeley. A Sony PlayStation 5 that usually costs $500 will now cost you $623 more.
I think parents are going to tell their children they're going to have to wait.
A car seat imported from China that usually costs $60 will cost $70 more.
I think that's one that's a necessity, right? Where families, expecting families will need to buy one, and those are already the cheapest in the market.
Boots or shoes made in China that cost on average about $77 could see an increase of $38. Tariffs are expected to bump up the cost on almost everything made in China. These headphones made in China with a retail cost of $19.99.
I'm pretty sure that'll go to $30 or more.
These plastic forks and spoons cost about $4 a box.
We're talking probably upwards of, I would say, $7, and that's giving some credit to importers trying to absorb the blow a little bit.
These $6 paper plates.
It might mean you have to roll out the expensive China because these paper plates are now too expensive to warrant being thrown away after a single use.
Professor Groth says the tariffs on Chinese-made goods will really hit low-income families.
The people that are in the lower, let's say, 30 percentile of income in the United States, that'll be a lot of hardship, and that'll be inflationary for them, and they'll be feeling this in the pocketbook until this negotiation is over.
And last year, China exported $463 billion worth of goods to the United States. Experts say a 125% tariff on Chinese goods will significantly impact the U.S. economy. That's because 73% of smartphones are imported from China, 78% of laptops, and 77% of toys also come from China. Back to you.
Now imagine it's your son's birthday, 7-year-old son's birthday, 8-year-old daughter's birthday, and you promise to get them this toy for their birthday, and you gotta pull out a little extra, or pull out that credit card or that debit card and scan, and they charge you a little extra or more money. It was once a toy that was once $30 is now $60, and we're working very hard to provide for families and make sure that the kids that we have can enjoy, or they can enjoy their birthday and they can enjoy their time. Now you got to think twice about putting together a birthday party now, because prices, most are, like I said, the news article that I shared, most clothes, most toys are made from China. A lot of toys are made from China, whole lot. So what do you do when you tell? Because I just heard the man in the interview on the news article say that you have to tell your kids to hold off. What do you tell a 7-year-old kid that was waiting patiently so long because all the son there's a trade war going on, so you gotta hold off on the toy. Oh, daughter, there's a trade war going on, so you gotta hold off on the toy for the day. I don't. Daddy didn't make extra. I paid all my bills up, paid so much money, and I can't get you that toy for your birthday. Do you really think the 1% really study that and how families gonna provide for their family, how kids, how families like you and me is gonna provide for our kids? Or do you think that the some of the clothes some of the shoes that we wear is from China, and it's the very simple shoes that you buy that's costing $40? Now you gotta think twice. Now you have to have extra. You gotta pull out $80 just to buy the same shoe that you bought for $40. Do you think that the 1% think about these things when they make the decisions and said it's better for the country? Yeah, maybe in the long run, but whose pockets is it affecting? When you raise prices, the inflation ain't going nowhere. When you raise prices and everything that you gotta pay extra for. Yeah, the kids look forward to their toys. Imagine you doing that, telling your little son, your little daughter that they can't, that they gotta hold off. And sir, would you do that? Would you tell your daughter or your little daughter, your little son, or your granddaughter or your granddaughter that you gotta hold off because the trade war is here and there's a trade war going on between China and the US? You think they're gonna understand that when you look at their little faces? No. So we're gonna be the ones that's being affected, not the 1%.
Yes, guy at the bodega added $1 to the sandwich, so it went up from $8.50 to $9.50 yesterday.
Everything goes up with the pay.
President Trump has imposed tariffs, essentially taxes, on goods coming from Canada, Mexico, and China this week.
Everything is moving up.
How much did you pay for the coffee?
$3.50.
Tic Tacs are going up as well. Some of the Tic Tacs are from Ecuador, some are from China.
Are you worried?
I am worried, but Trump is kind of strong. He business money.
Criminals.
The Starbucks out of business. If the Starbucks doesn't make money, who can make money?
Everybody tries to be as happy as they can be, I guess, but pockets are hungry.
Now, you may not have, your grandkids are probably older, your kids are older, and you may not be in that position anymore to buy your kids toy. Your kids are outgrown toys, and maybe you may not have grandchildren yet. Your kids are maybe like teenagers going into high school, and they're out of there, or they're junior high school and going into high school, and they grew out of toys. But you do go to work, but some of us do buy coffee. And now you got to think about paying for extra for your coffee or your hot tea, or paying extra for that sandwich, that egg sandwich. That's usually you're rushing, you don't have time to make breakfast in the morning, so you're rushing. Now you got to pay extra for that roll, that egg roll with bacon on it, or cheese and bacon, however you want your breakfast sandwich or the wrap. You gotta pay extra now. So it's gonna affect us. Don't ignore, don't be oblivious to what's going on around you. So it is gonna affect us some way, somehow. Trust me, especially I'm talking about for the hardworking man, the 9 to 5 like myself, the middle class, the families that make less than $50,000 a year or $50,000 a year in America. Talking about those people. Talking about us. Love us. So, yeah.
Any money?
More than $500,000.
6 figures.
How are you feeling about
3
that?
days. I'm pissed off.
Scared.
Elon Musk down 135 billion. Mark Zuckerberg down 30 billion. But forget these billionaires. What about
They
you?
put me in Tesla, which at the time seemed like, oh yeah, electric cars. Something's got to happen, or I'm going to be living in my car.
I think it will go back up. Hope I'll be around. If not, my granddaughter will get nothing when I die.
Should I just bury my money in the ground?
When people say it's never been as bad as now, where the hell were they? Do they know their history? How can you say this is the worst thing we've ever had? These were much worse at different times.
I don't have enough money in my bank to pay my bills.
At my age, I'm 80 years old. When I see things will get back.
There's skyscrapers, right?
Tariffs?
Yeah, they are skyscrapers.
Imagine that. Lady caught my attention saying that she may have to live in her car. And a lot of Americans don't have money enough to pay for their bills in their bank. Some people have less than $1,000 in their bank. And imagine being 70 years old and 65 years old because your pension is not enough, your Social Security is not enough, and you gotta go back to work. You gotta go back to it because you have to, not because you want to. Some seniors go to work because they want to, but imagine being that age and you have to go back to work. Just think about that. Think about that for a second. Think about that for a second. You think the 1% is concerned with us? Now, for the past few days, let's talk about the stock market. And I invest in stock. It has pummeled, and it hasn't been looking good. The stock hasn't been looking good lately. Our stocks, Apple stock, any stocks that you invested in on your platforms, on a brokerage account, it wasn't looking good for the past few days. Now, I heard this article caught my attention. Trump trade advisor says stock market plunge. No big deal. No big deal. Because the stocks we use to invest in, so later on we have something as you get older, and you can pull it out as you get older. You want to leave an inheritance for your family. You want to leave an inheritance for your children's children, and leave an inheritance for your family. And the stocks is also an avenue you can go to invest in order. But lately it has pummeled because of the tariffs, and now the trade wars are here, and Lord knows what it's gonna look like now. But the question is, should you still invest in your brokerage account? Yeah, you can, but it hasn't been looking good lately. And Trump shrugged his shoulders. Yeah, the stock, okay, no big deal. So yes, is impacting the stocks in a major way. Yes, the trade war is ongoing and is impacting the stock market, specifically President Trump's tariffs on China. And in retaliatory measures have created the uncertainty and the volatility leading to stock market declines. Yes, so that's why lately I've been looking at the stocks and I've seen a whole lot of red. If you're into stocks, a whole lot of red. Go into your brokerage account and you can see the stocks pummeled. Came up a little bit, then it went down again. So that goes to tell you that can't rely on the system. Can't solely rely on the system. We gotta rely on God. Amen. Let's turn to a scripture. Philippians chapter 4 verse 6. Don't be anxious for anything, but come with prayer and supplication. Don't be anxious for anything. It means God is telling us not to worry, but come with prayer and supplication. Ask God how to move, and ask God for wisdom in how to move. And it's causing some people to panic, but I'm not going to panic. Oh, no. If you're covered under the blood and God is supplying your needs, there's no need for you as a child of the King to panic. Oh, no, because God provides for his people. I've seen God provide for his people over and over again. He makes a way out of no way for us. So when you go to the supermarket today, tomorrow, and you see certain products, certain foods higher than usual, this is why. See certain food like eggs is gotten high. I just the other day I was supermarket and I just seen a carton of eggs for $18. The full carton of eggs, $18, almost $20. So when you go to the supermarket, do not be shocked, do not be surprised that some of the products, some of the foods are extra, a little extra. Now the live word today is coming out of Psalms 37 verses 25. I've been young, but now I'm old, but I've not seen the righteous forsaken or a seed beg for bread. My sister and brethren, when you're walking with God, He always provides. He's a waymaker. He provides. When you think it's impossible, God makes a way. When you think that your back is against the wall and you're relying on this system, and you're hearing all the news about tariffs and trade war and we're living in fear, God doesn't want us to live in fear. Because, like what King David said, he've never seen the righteous begging for bread. Now, we're walking with God. Yes, when we ask God for wisdom, He'll show us on what to invest in so we can leave an inheritance for our children's children. But first, you got to be working with God, though. You got to be working with God. You got to believe that He's a waymaker and He'll always provide. Well, this is Zaccheus with another live word of the day. God bless and be safe. If you like what I shared, smash the like button. Also, subscribe to my channel, Zaccheus Gospel. Be safe in peace and blessings, and be safe out there. Until next time.